All right, next on your morning, how to make the most out of your work routine.
Emery, thank you. Meetings at work are an important way to connect with the team. You can keep track of workflows, plan ahead for those future goals. We all know those same meetings can take up a lot of time in our day, which could be used for getting other things done. So today, Kristi Herold, a workplace culture expert, joins the show to teach us how to make meetings more efficient so nobody's time is wasted. And without further ado, here she is. Kristi, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So before we even schedule a meeting, there is the pre-work we got to do to make sure that those meetings run well. So what's the first thing someone should consider before they even schedule that meeting?
I think it's really important to consider who should be attending the meeting. If you're not going to be adding value to the meeting or deriving value from the meeting, you probably shouldn't be there because everyone's time is valuable. It costs an organization a lot of money to have a big room filled with people if not everyone is going to be getting value. If it could be communicated by a quick email instead. So definitely worth asking that. And then a saying, my brother wrote the book Meetings Suck, Cameron Herold. And, in that book, he talks about no agenda, no attenda. And so it's really important to have a clear agenda for the meeting and stay on point to your timelines for that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the agenda in this conversation. I want to ask you, though, I need to know your opinion on this. Do you think it's better to have short meetings that are a little more frequent or like one long meeting once a week?
Great question. So I personally feel we've done both over the years at JAM, which is the organization I run, and we have found that if it's a full team meeting, better to have we do one a day. We have a 7-minute huddle every single day at 1 o'clock Eastern. So our team can join remotely or in person. We've got people in Europe and we've got people on the West Coast of Canada calling in for the meeting. So 1 o'clock Eastern, everyone is attending. It's a tight agenda. It's the same agenda. Everybody on the team takes an opportunity to be the leader, so everyone has a chance to shine, right from intern up to the C-suite. Everyone rotates through leading the huddle. We always start with a playful bit of good news at the beginning, and we always wrap up with a playful leader's choice. Play is an important way to foster friendships and make the meeting more energizing and engaging for everyone. So we personally have found tight, short meetings every day are better to communicate important information that's going on. And then more longer meetings should be smaller groups of people, in my opinion, smaller groups of people, team, like departmental, once a week to really dig into bigger issues. So that's what we have found is very effective.
So you mentioned play and you've got a ball here. Tell me why this ball becomes so useful in a meeting.
This, Kelsey, is what we use and what I encourage organizations to use for whoever gets to be the speaker at the meeting. So if I'm holding the ball, it's my turn to talk. Now it's your turn to talk and you get to hold the floor. And when someone else's turn, you pass the ball. It makes it a little bit of fun, makes it playful, engaging, and keeps everyone awake.
Well, and it's a visual reminder that if you aren't holding the ball, it is not your turn. You have to wait.
Precisely.
I'll give the ball back to you so you can answer all the questions. So if you feel like a meeting is taking up way too much time in your workday, do you think that you have the right as an employee to say to your leader, I don't think that I can attend this. I feel like it's detracting from my ability to do my actual job. What's your advice on this?
I actually believe it's not a right, it's an obligation. It's our obligation as employees of an organization to do right by our organization. And that means if we are not, as I said earlier, if you're not adding value or deriving value, you're wasting the organization's time and resources by sitting there. So ask yourself, am I providing, is it a benefit to the organization for me to be sitting in this meeting? And if you can't answer that honestly, I do think it's your obligation to speak up and say, I don't think I'm adding value. I think it's costing, this is not a great use of my resources. What do you think? And bringing it up as a discussion point.
That might be an uncomfortable conversation to have, but it's probably less uncomfortable than sitting in a really long meeting where you're like, I just need to go.
And I think you can frame it as like, I want to look out for what's right, what's best for the business here, right? So if you frame it in that way, it can be a pretty powerful and thoughtful way to broach the subject.
Kristi, I think I need to have you back to talk about agenda points and how to set a good agenda for a meeting because that's a valuable conversation. I'm really glad you were here today. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.